Chiefs Kingdom, welcome into a brand new episode of the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jackson Durham, and today is going to be a busy show, my friends. We've got a massive announcement from the Kansas City Chiefs to cover today. Some breaking news you might have already seen and be looking for some more information around. And then we've got an injury update around Gardner Minshew and what the Chiefs decided to do to potentially replace him for the short term. So, let's start with the Gardner Minshew news before we get into the absolutely massive news that is going to dominate today's episode. And by the way, my name is Jackson Durham. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports, if I didn't already say. But Gardner Minshew, who we discussed yesterday, obviously he exits yesterday's game against the Tennessee Titans with what was initially reported to be an ACL injury. That is not a torn ACL. At this time, we do not have full details on what the injury is, how severe it is, how much time Gardner's going to miss, all of that still up in the air. But we did hear confirmation from Adam Schefter that the ACL is officially not torn, which is great news. I did not see in back-to-back weeks our starting quarterback tear their ACL. But the Chiefs still made a roster move at quarterback today, bringing in another quarterback, which does kind of indicate they don't feel like Gardner will be able to play in Week 17, maybe not even in Week 18, still up in the air there. So just because the ACL is not torn doesn't mean we'll have Gardner Minshew back just yet. I want to make that clear. The Chiefs signed Shane Bichelle to, I don't want to say replace Gardner Minshew, but at least to come onto the roster. If you're not familiar with Bichelle, he was with the Chiefs from 2021 to 2022, practice squad guy mostly. He's been with the Bills recently as a backup on their active roster. An interesting decision for him to leave behind Buffalo, who, as much as we don't like the Bills, as much as we've gone back and forth with them in the postseason, they're in position to go this year. Hell, there's a world where, much of it would sting to watch, Josh Allen gets one done this year. Bills get Super Bowl rings. Bichelle walked away from that for a personal opportunity for his career. And when I hear that, it kind of gives me the sense that I don't think the Chiefs have promised him an opportunity to start, but they've definitely told him, like, you're going to be competing, at least. There's a strong chance that we're going to need you. Because otherwise, why would you walk away from an opportunity to be with a team that's playing meaningful football if you're not going to play meaningful football, if you're just going to sit on the bench? I think, just from a competitor's perspective, I don't feel like you would walk away from that unless it is for a big personal opportunity for you. So I do think that there's a chance that we see Shane Bichelle. Something to watch for, absolutely. And I need you to hit that subscribe button because, this next story that we're going to talk about, if it caught you off guard, if you hadn't already heard about this, you would have heard about it last week on the episode that we did when things initially broke around it. And number two, if and when we do find out more details around Gardner Minshew's status, around exactly what his injury is to his knee, obviously we know it's not a torn ACL, but what exactly is going on with Gardner Minshew, as soon as we have that information, as soon as we know whether or not he's playing in Week 17, we're going to have a short for you guys as well. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you're up to date on Chiefs news. But let's talk about the news that's going to dominate today's episode. And like I said, this was initially hinted at last week in a story that we covered a little bit. Chiefs radio host Soren Petro, or I should say Kansas City radio host, he's not an official Chiefs radio host, he somewhat leaked last week on Twitter that a meeting would occur today between the Kansas City Chiefs and Kansas lawmakers. He said the Royals would not be in attendance, but that the meeting would be about the structure of a deal for Kansas City or the Chiefs to come across the border and move to the Kansas side of the Kansas City Metro. And Sam McDowell of the Kansas City S.T.A.R. today, I was kind of watching and waiting to see exactly what would happen here. Felt like Soren might be onto something, and it turns out he is. Sam McDowell said the Chiefs have informed administrative officials that they will announce their move to Kansas today, pending the expected LCC approval, I'm told. And the LCC is the Legislative Coordinating Council for Kansas. They're currently meeting in a closed session. Let me double check and make sure that there hasn't been breaking news around that. Nope, not yet. They're meeting as I am recording this video to formally approve the agreement, and it's basically a formality at the end of the day. Yeah, it might be kind of bold to say, but we've seen how boldly Kansas lawmakers and the state of Kansas has been going after the Chiefs. They have made overture after overture for this team to bring them over, offering them a brand new stadium, offering them a lot of generous incentives and packages to make sure that that stadium would be easy for them to build. And it seems like that has worked. We're going to talk about the details of that stadium as we understand them right now in just a minute here. But first, we have got to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, everybody. Happy holidays. The best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It is all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, whether it's what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there is one place where it feels good to be right, and that's Prize Picks. Plus, this is the best time of year for Prize Picks. Everyone's favorite holiday promotion is back on Prize Picks, and that is 7 days of Pickmas. Prize Picks has given out 7 days of deals all the way through Christmas Day, including a Christmas Day max discount. Pickmas starts December 20th, so download the app today and unwrap those deals. And I'm going on my Prize Picks app right now to check out potential lineup options for Thursday night's games. And when I look at it right now, actually, we'll check out Monday night's game. Brock Purdy, we could take the more on his passing yards. We could go with the more on Jonathan Taylor's rushing and receiving. And we'll go with the more on the rushing and receiving for Christian McCaffrey as well. So you could tell me on that lineup. You could fade me on that lineup. Whatever you do, just do it at Prize Picks, because I love how straightforward Prize Picks is. I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to calculate my payouts. Prize Picks just makes it easy with their payout multipliers. Whether it's a simple 3x or a big 2,000x, Prize Picks makes it easy to understand how much I can win. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Huge shout out to Prize Picks. Always appreciate them supporting the channel. And if you do check them out, make sure you use code CLNS. But let's get into those stadium details, as I talked about. Firstly, the biggest one that stood out to a lot of people, the stadium will be, at least based on the concept art, domed. We do not have any expectation of seating numbers right now or capacity, but it will be a dome stadium. It will cost an estimated north of $2 billion, of which 70% will be funded by S.T.A.R bonds, which are taxes, sales tax on alcohol, stuff like that. And it will be located in Wynadotte County near the Kansas Speedway, which was also funded by S.T.A.R bonds, as is the adjacent Legends Shopping Center, all of which in Wynadotte. So, like I said off the top, the most notable detail there, outside of the enormous price tag attached to this thing, although I feel like all these stadiums are just getting more and more expensive. Dome. Why dome? Why would Kansas City, a cold weather city, give up one of the bigger playoff advantages they have and one of the late season advantages they have, which is forcing teams, especially two of their rivals in their division are warm weather teams, Raiders and Chargers, to come out and play them in cold weather games. And also playoff opponents, also facing them in cold weather matches. Why go to the Dome? Well, because while that is a playoff advantage, while it is a late season advantage, it's also going to keep you from ever hosting a Super Bowl. Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, will never be given the opportunity to host a Super Bowl. Despite the fact that it is one of the most historic venues in the NFL, Super Bowls go to warm weather cities and they go to domed stadiums. Most recently, the most recent Super Bowl in a cold weather city was at US Bank in Minneapolis, which that's a dome stadium. It was a brand spanking new dome stadium. And we've seen time and time again, the best way to lure the Super Bowl, build that new beautiful stadium. So this would be Clark Hunt's play to bring in a Super Bowl, to bring in a Final Four, to bring in year-round big-time concerts, all at this new venue. All of that could be accomplished. All of that is a major economic boon for the city. Absolutely it is. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to poo-poo it at all. It's true. It would be huge. However, there is no state law against building domes in Missouri. So why not Missouri? In fact, they've actually got a big one in St. Louis. 100% it's legal. We checked. Missouri voters voted no on what was initially a proposed renovation to Arrowhead Stadium. That was the preferred way of doing this for Clark Hunt, was let's just stay at Arrowhead Stadium, but we need renovations for it. It's the NFL's third longest active use venue. It's outdated, undeniably. I think everyone can acknowledge there are outdated features of Arrowhead Stadium. But voters, in Missouri voted no, and it wasn't even close. I think I understand why Clark Hunt, I don't understand why he needs public money, given how wealthy he is to do this stadium. But if he is committed to the project of using public money, or I guess prospect of using public money to build this stadium, it was never going to happen in Missouri. The results of that vote, nearly 60% of voters who turned out voting no on the proposal, made that 100% clear. And when Kansas lawmakers saw that, they saw their opportunity to make a big overture. They offered 70% of the stadium funded with S.T.A.R bonds. That kind of did the deal right there. At the end of the day, you can feel like me, you can disagree with the fact that the Hunt family doesn't need public funding to do this. I don't think really any NFL ownership or ownership group at the end of the day needs the public's assistance to build their new stadiums. But time and time again, they want it. And time again, if cities can't pony up the money, some other city is willing to do so. And that's exactly what we saw here. Even though the Chiefs aren't going to move far, they're moving for a very specific reason, and it is entirely cost-based. It's going to cost a lot less to get this new stadium built in Kansas, where they seem to be headed. So, that's the story as we know it right now. If there's more details, if there's more updates, you know where you'll find them, right here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. Happy holidays, guys. We're rolling Christmas and the rest of the holidays right around the corner. I'll be here through it with you guys. We're going to have some pre-content filmed to go out to you, but hope you're enjoying time with your family. Hope you're enjoying a little bit of time off, and I will see you next time.